You know that feeling, right? When you're in a professional partnership, but something just feels off, like you're more of a task doer than a real collaborator? It's a super common frustration. But what if there was a way to just completely rewrite the rules from day one? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
It all really comes down to this question, doesn't it? The heart of the problem is usually a massive misunderstanding of what our roles are even supposed to be. We use the word partner, but then we act like we're just in a simple transaction. And that right there is where all the friction, the resentment, and honestly, the failure comes from.
So let's get right to it. The crucial difference is right here on the screen. On one side, you have the vendor mentality. It's purely transactional. It's about servitude, about being a yes person just to keep the client happy. But a true partner mentality, that's collaborative. It's built on mutual respect and, maybe most importantly, on being a truth teller, even when the truth is a little uncomfortable to hear.
So, how do we fix this broken model? Well, we're going to look at a radically honest approach laid out in a message from QiAlly. And this isn't some dense, complicated legal document. Nope, it's a direct, human conversation that's designed to set the stage for a real partnership before a single piece of work even starts. And bam! This one statement changes the entire game. By framing the role as a fractional C-suite partner, think of it as an experienced executive joining your team part-time. It just immediately elevates the whole relationship. It's not about taking orders anymore. It's about taking ownership. The dynamic shifts from a simple service provider to a high-level strategic ally who is deeply, personally invested in your success. But look, a powerful mindset is great, but it's not enough on its own, right? It needs a real framework to stand on. This approach lays out crystal-clear rules of engagement right from the start, and they're all built on clarity, firm boundaries, and that all-important mutual respect. Okay, so let's start with the do's. And I want you to notice, this isn't just a simple to-do list. It's a commitment to the kind of support you're going to get in a real partnership. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it means acting like a strategic leader, not just an extra pair of hands. It's about building systems that are solid and can survive the chaos, not just ticking off tasks. And that 110% commitment? It's tied directly to offering complete, unfiltered honesty. Remember, you're hiring a partner to protect you from making mistakes, not to just tell you what you want to hear.
Now, this next part is just as important, if not more so, the don'ts. And these aren't just suggestions. They're non-negotiable boundaries that protect the focus and the integrity of the entire partnership. And these boundaries, they are what make the work so much more effective for everyone involved. Not babysitting means respecting the client is accountable for their part. Not playing yes person means you're actually getting real value. And refusing to chase paperwork or bend rules, that just ensures everyone's time is spent on high-impact work, not getting bogged down in administrative headaches.
Of course, this is not a one-way street. Not at all. For this whole model to actually work, the client has an equally important part to play. The expectations are clear, they're simple, and they are absolutely essential.
And here they are. It really just comes down to these three pillars. 1. Respect, acknowledging that this is a partnership of equals, not servitude. 2. Timely communication, because clarity saves everyone time and money. And 3. Accountability for their end of the bargain. When both sides are committed to these, things just flow.
And there's a very clear line in the sand. This isn't about creating drama, it's about pure professionalism. The message couldn't be clearer. Operate with honesty and good faith. If that line of respect gets crossed, the partnership ends. Cleanly, professionally, and without any hesitation.
Okay, now we get to the part that I think makes this whole approach so incredibly powerful. This is where we move beyond the business rules and we acknowledge the reality of being human. It completely redefines vulnerability, not as a weakness, but as a source of unbelievable strength.
Just let that sit for a second. I'm not broken, I'm built different. It's such a powerful reframe. By just stating the reality of living with invisible disabilities or neurodivergence or trauma wiring, it replaces stigma with pure honesty. It's not an apology, it's a statement of fact that creates a much more empathetic and realistic way to work together.
And this duality is everything. The honesty about needing to pace yourself on those climb days is directly linked to the promise of unmatched, relentless performance on summit days. It's a trade-off that produces extraordinary results because it's built on reality, not on pretending to be a machine 24/7.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, the clear rules, the firm boundaries, and that unapologetic humanity, what's the ultimate payoff? It really boils down to three core principles. First and most importantly is trust. Every single rule, every boundary, every moment of honesty that we've talked about is specifically designed to build this foundation. When you get rid of the guesswork and you just know that you're always going to get the truth, trust becomes the default setting, not something you have to spend months trying to earn.
And that trust, it creates the safety that's needed for genuine transformation. You can't make big, bold moves or build systems that are truly going to last if you're constantly walking on eggshells or second-guessing your partner. This foundation of trust allows for the kind of a radical change that those broken transactional relationships could never, ever achieve.
And finally, truth. It's the golden thread tying everything together. It's the basis for the rules. It's the courage behind the vulnerability. And it's the engine for both the trust we build and the transformation we're trying to achieve. It is the one guiding principle of this entire philosophy.
I mean, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? The goal isn't some flawless machine-like perfection. The goal is to build something that actually matters, with real people. It's about focusing on the things that lead to meaningful, lasting success.
So, I want to leave you with this question to really think about. What could you build? What would change in your professional life? What kind of projects could you launch? What kind of growth could you achieve if every single one of your partnerships started with this kind of radical, respectful honesty from the very first conversation?